Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hopefully, y'all are enjoying this weather out here today. That one of the last 80-degree days, probably for the rest of the year. But let's just get into it today. Hopefully, it's going to be a short video. And this one, I'm just going to encourage you all to Google what I'm saying yourselves, because I just really couldn't believe that they're like saying it out loud now, blatantly. So let's just get into it. So, in short, we've heard about Project 2025, right? We've heard various things, but what I'm going to concentrate on is education in the Department of Education right now for today. So on Fox News this past week, and it was also reinforced in like another interview as well, that Donald Trump literally said, and I quote, and this is what I want you to go and research, because I was about to like play a clip and things of that nature, but I realized that people, they need to see it for themselves. You know what I'm saying? They need to go do their own research, see the clip from every angle, the long, the short, all the version. So basically, here it goes. He said that he would basically get rid of the Department of Education. He was like, first and foremost, like that is the first kind of crazy, egregious thing. Like if you're a person that knows the history of people of color, women, and black people in this nation with education, you'll know the Department of Education has been one of our saving graces. You know what I'm saying? Despite, of course, there being some issues with it. That's step one. But step two of what he said, which is actually more glaring, is that the host posed this question to him and stated, so what if a state wanted to teach that America was founded on stolen native land and that it was built primarily by a lot of slaves? What would you do? And Donald Trump said, I would shut that down and we would not give them any funding. So he basically said out loud that if the truth is told, right, that America in fact is founded on stolen native land, like it's the truth. And it is also true that slaves came here and were brought here against their will, and they were the economic backbone of this entire nation. So those things being taught in schools under a Donald Trump America would result in your school being unfunded. So, hello, I mean, I just think this should speak alone in itself. Like, black people, are you now saying that you're okay with black history basically being erased from American history? Now, I know for me, like, I'm a man of a certain age, I'm 43, and I can recall that, and I went to a pretty good school, that our education on black history was very, very, very limited. Very limited. It was like there's slavery, and then oops, there's the civil rights movement with Martin Luther King. And we learned more than most. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so it was already a very, very limited, romanticized history of like every colonist coming here was great. They were kind to Indians. They were kind to slaves. You know what I'm saying? There was all those kind of things. So we already know that at its current state, it wasn't enough. And so now we have more and more studies coming in, like showing more truth, and they're actively against it. Like this should be disqualifying enough that they're trying to basically tell your children that black people have no role in this country, and that anything that could even remotely make maybe people feel bad, like, yeah, it's not a good thing that you stole land and lied to Native Americans and committed genocide and slavery. Those are all bad things, and why should we not learn about them to the point where you want to erase them from the books and defund districts that are choosing to actually tell their people the truth? What is the harm? Ask yourself, why do they not want that truth inside the history books? Why do they want to erase black people and erase crimes that they did? You know, and I feel like it's like coming out today. Like I talk to a lot of younger people that really have complete lack of appreciation for like any history, let alone their own. It almost makes like people feel ashamed or bad about ourselves. But it's like and that's like the funny irony of it. It's like, you won't tell our truth because it makes certain people feel bad. But yeah, what about us feeling bad, right? What about the actual implications of like what not telling truth means? So, I mean, I think that just stands for its face. Like, black, like that alone should be disqualifying to make sure that Trump and this man and Republicans, quite frankly, are not in office, because it's not just a Donald Trump thing. Look at what they're doing down in Florida. You know, the truth is called woke. the truth is woke, so we supposed to still teach Christopher Columbus as a hero? Is that the okay truth that we want to teach? But let's just take it a little step further, because I'm going to give a little education, because people really don't seem to get it. Like, I'm going to tell you the Department of Education right now has a lot of things to fix. I live in Philadelphia, so believe me, our public schools are some of the worst in the country, and there's a lot of things that need to be fixed about it. But what I'm not going to be dumb enough to say is that it needs to be completely dissolved, and that needs to be broken down, because I made some other videos, like, we have to understand why the Department of Education is here. Let's just take a quick gander in history as to why things have resulted and why we need the DEA. Because foremost, like, I don't know about y'all, but like my grandparents, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was alive when my grandparents were, I am alive, obviously, but like my grandparents were alive, and we got a chance to talk and everything. And I don't know, especially with black people, how many of us, our grandparents didn't even go to high school? Like, they did not get a full high school education. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know that, like, you know, maybe only one or two siblings got the chance to go to school. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know a lot of y'all have heard some of the stories about some of our ancestors growing up in the South. Like, my grandmother used to tell me, you know, to go to school, she had to walk 10 miles through a forest, and like the books were terrible, and like it wasn't free, and like it was just like a hard access to education. It was not guaranteed. You know, and just the equal, and then let's not even mind you of the separate but equal. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, education in actual documented form was not equal. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know, so it's just like we came from a situation where not if you were getting education, it wasn't equal if you weren't anybody but a white man. It was a completely tiered system to where only the wealthy and affluent people had access to education, really, on some stuff. And like the little scraps of education they gave you, like, you were lucky if you even, you know, went to get a high school diploma, any of those things. And let's not even talk about college. You know what I'm saying? I was like, so like the reason why the DEA was put up there, also because we need to have a standardization of education. In America, you can't be like, okay, well, you have a high school diploma in Maine means something completely different than a high school diploma in Florida means. Like, you got to have like some kind of basis of education so we can have kind of a national standard. Like, right, that's good. You know what I'm saying? So you can have a job in California and a job in Pennsylvania and have a basis of what you're going to get. And so I feel like this whole burn it down, everything is crazy, like it's absurd. It did solve a problem. There are other things we need. A lot of it is resources. You know what I'm saying? We have one party that thinks that teachers and educators are all the problem, right? You know what I'm saying? There's somehow these greedy, horrible people. You know what I'm saying? And we need to go back to this kind of privatized education system that really only advantage, you know, the same people that everything advantages. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I really don't understand like that basis of an argument, especially if you're a person of color in this nation. You got to definitely work with what we got going on to try and promote better education. But getting the feds out of it is the last thing you want to do. And that's just like based on history. So thought it was going to be a quick video today. Of course I lied. But like, just Google it for yourself. He wants to erase Black history, and that won't be it. Right? He wants to erase the Native American history, but that won't be it. Right? What's the next thing he wants to erase? That will be just too fragile for him and his supporters to even listen to in the basis of truth. Until next time.